Yesterday, I uploaded a video about site Yankee002G3. Truth be told, I actually uploaded it early hours of this morning because I lost internet connection right before I was about to upload it, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, given that I had created that video as a challenge by one of my Discordians to create a video in an extraordinarily short amount of time. I actually managed to create the video in 1 hour 34 minutes, but when it came around to uploading it, I lost internet, so yeah, that worked out. That being said, that will become a monthly occurrence on the Discord where I will ask for somebody to give me an idea and I will make a video as fast as humanly possible. And if it's a decent idea and I run with it, then whoever suggested that idea gets a free t-shirt. So there's another reason to jump into the Discord. And while we're talking about giveaways, of course I spoke recently about us crossing over 50,000 subscribers and said that I would give 5 t-shirts to 5 randomly selected individuals from the 50,000 subscribers, and also to share Installation 00, so when we hit 100,000, 10 of you are going to receive goodie boxes basically from me filled with tons of Installation 00 merch. Well, those 5 winners are Red Fox 1140, Joey Franklin, Harshan X, It's a Turtlehead, and Lazerkri. All you guys need to do to claim your t-shirts is get in touch with me on any social media platform or Discord and we'll sort out the fine details. So going back to the video that I uploaded yesterday, the video in question was about Site Yankee002G3. It's actually an ancient human ship, and in that video there's some footage from the Halo 4 terminals, but there's a particular piece of footage that I find interesting. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and today we're taking a closer look at one particular scene from the Halo 4 terminals to figure out just what's going on here. The scene in question is this one. At face value, it's simply a fleet of ships firing upon an ancient human vessel. However, that fleet of ships, if we then go forward to another scene further into the Halo 4 terminals, are also ancient human-controlled ships. Now, it appears as more than just a coincidence that this particular ship that was fired upon matches the exact class and profile of the ship detailed in Halo Warfleet. Furthermore, the description that is given alongside this ship in Halo Warfleet details that it was hit by a high-energy weapon. And in this very cutscene, we see that exact class of ship being hit by a high-energy weapon. Now, I only noticed this after I'd finished yesterday's video, and in that video I said that it is likely that the ancient human vessel that is found by the Office of Naval Intelligence was likely fired upon by Forerunner ships. But if these two incidents are in fact the same incident, if these two vessels are in fact the same vessel, then that means that an ancient human ship was fired upon by other human ships. What would possess them to do that? Now again, at face value, yeah, you would expect ancient human vessels to fire upon another vessel if, say, there was a flood infection. I mean, ancient humanity did sacrifice a third of our population to slow the spread of the flood. Hell, ancient humanity glassed worlds to try to stop the spread, even worlds they didn't actually colonize themselves, worlds that were owned by the Forerunners. But again, in Halo Warfleet it details that no flood supercells were found aboard the vessel at all. And yes, again, you could argue, yeah, but the Halo Array fired, that cleared the galaxy of life. The Halo Array fires and clears the galaxy of sentient life, which is the food for the Flood. It doesn't kill the Flood, it kills their food. That was detailed in Halo Combat Evolved in this cutscene.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood, it kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
And again, after the Halo arrays were fired, yes, there were colonies that were given basically a chemical that would break down all of the corpses that were left behind to stop the environments and ecosystems becoming relentlessly polluted by decomposing bodies. But they were colonies that were given that treatment. This vessel, at least as it appears, is floating ominously in deep space somewhere on its own, so that wouldn't have been affected by this chemical that breaks down corpses, and as such, the Flood supercells should have continued to exist in a state of suspended animation, so to speak. So there should have been at least some evidence of Flood supercell aboard this ship to allow the theory that the human ships fired upon the other human ship to clear it of a Flood infestation. This did not happen. So what was it? Why were human vessels firing upon another human vessel? We can see in the cutscene that there's either a manned or unmanned vehicle scanning this ship. And then the fleet of ships, oddly enough the same fleet that is controlled by Fourth Hensho, the Lord of Admirals, fires upon that ship. Why? If there was no Flood infestation, why did they fire upon their own ship? I said in yesterday's video that the technology that was found aboard this ship is likely to advance human technology in the 26th century in our current Halo universe to extreme levels, either equal to that of ancient humanity or much further as we hybridize systems from the Covenant, humanity, ancient humanity, and the Forerunners. This puts us on track of being a significant power in the galaxy, much more than we currently are, to the preeminence of the Forerunners before us. The discoveries that are going to be made, and probably already have been made in this vessel, are going to make us a major superpower. And yet when I think about it, the only reason that I would expect an ancient human fleet to fire upon one of their own vessels is through a Flood infestation, yet there's no example of Flood supercells that are found. This leads me to conclude that there must have been a Flood infestation on the ship. There's no other reason that ancient humanity would sacrifice one of their own ships. Literally no reason whatsoever. So this leads to the final conclusion that the weapon that was fired at that ship destroyed all Flood biomass. Everything. Even down to the Flood supercell. We know that as long as a single Flood spore exists in the universe, the Flood have the potential of returning and dominating the galaxy. Because, in the words of Artas Vadum,
one single Flood spore can destroy a species. Were it not for the Arbiter's Council, I would have glassed your entire planet.
The Flood are a virulent threat unlike anything we've ever experienced. The Forerunners lacked any capability, any military might, to be able to stop the progress of the Flood, and the Forerunners were supposed to be the most powerful species of the galaxy at that time. The only option they had left to them was to commit mass genocide and the near complete and utter extinction of their own species in order to stop the Flood, and even then, they didn't stop it. There were still outbreaks. There were still containment failures. There was still Flood biomass in the galaxy. And as long as a single Flood spore exists, the Flood will never be defeated. It was hypothesized by the Forerunners that ancient humanity seemed to find some sort of cure or way to force the Flood back into retreat, until it was somewhat discovered by talking to the Primordial that in fact the Flood retreated of their own volition to trick the Forerunners into thinking that ancient humanity had found a cure. But we know that Gravemind and the Flood superintelligence in general is very manipulative. It will twist facts for its own gain. So what if the Primordial was lying about that? What if the Flood didn't retreat of their own volition? What if humanity had found a way to destroy the Flood? Not so much a cure, but a weapon. The only reason that ancient humanity would fire upon their own ship is through a Flood infestation. The similarities between the ship that they fired upon here and the one in Halo Warfleet are one and the same, it's likely they are the same vessel, and yet no Flood supercell was found by the Office of Naval Intelligence when they discovered it. The only logical conclusion is that humanity had in their possession a weapon capable of destroying everything of the Flood, down to the absolute quantum of their existence, the Flood supercell. They could rid a Flood infection unlike any other weapon or mechanism that the Forerunner had in their possession. That makes humanity superior to the Forerunners in a massive regard. And we've just discovered an ancient human vessel that likely possesses this weapon, that likely possesses a technology to completely and utterly destroy the Flood. I said in my previous video that the discovery of this vessel was likely to lead to massive innovations. What if one of those innovations is a final closure of the perpetual battle with the Flood? What if ancient humanity's technology is going to be reappropriated by the Office of Naval Intelligence, and we, in Halo Infinite or a future game, are going to finally cure the Flood? It's a lot of information to take in, I know, so be sure to pop into the comments and tell me what you think. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below. I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons: Neek, the Silent Cartographer, Brian, Sebastian, Red Sea, Darian, Stalker of the Realms, Falcon X003, Alvin, DW, and the Revanche, the Holders of the Mantle, Andre, Austin, Black Biscuit, Dreaming, Henry, J Rabbit, Kaiser, Reclaimer 216, Samantha, Spartan A498, Squire Young, Silex, The Death Mantle, and Thin Ice, my Reclaimers, Bastian, Chris, Critical Analysis, Daniel, David, Deep Cover, Dylan, Flaming Halo, Guppy, Harbinger, Ice Lord Cryo, Josh, Verbal Statue, Kenneth Marine, Mickey, Mulshar, Nightrise, Spesigo, Starlight, Zach and Zach, my Metarchs, and all the other patrons that have jumped aboard to support the channel. You guys are awesome, and all of this wouldn't be possible without you. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and joining the domain and the list of beautiful human beings who exist there, and supporting the channel over there, or indeed becoming a channel member by hitting the join button. It would mean the world to me and would free up more of my time for me to put into this content and other Halo related goodness. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.